Okay, we are in Pirkei Avos, Pirkei Avos, Mishnah Tez Zayin. Today we're discussing why is it important for everyone to have a rabbi. So the Mishnah says, Rabbi Gamliel Omer Aseh L'Chadov. Gamliel says, make for yourself a rabbi. It's the histalik min hasafik, and then you're going to remove yourself from doubt. Val tarba la'aser madlis. And don't tithe, don't give meiser by estimating, or charity perhaps. So what's the explanation over here? So the Medrash Shmuel explains that one should only learn Torah from one rabbi in order that he won't have doubts. Because if you're going to learn Torah from different rabbis, you're going to have doubts because there's different explanations, different ideas. So therefore, you have to appoint one rabbi who's very wise. And this, the truth is, we discuss in the sixth Mishnah of this Masechta, and you should see the video over there. Now, some explain the shir over there. You should reference. Some explain that this is referring to, this is the second explanation, to appointing a rabbi to teach you Kabbalah. Now, what does the word Kabbalah mean? Kabbalah means receive, because Kabbalah has to be received from someone else. These are esoteric and difficult areas of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah. You have to receive it from someone else. And then, like the continuation of the Mishnah says, you're going to be removed from doubts in that manner. A third explanation is the Mili Davos explains that this mission is instructing us not to learn by ourselves. Truth is also again reference over there the sixth Mishnah that we discuss, learning by yourself versus with someone else versus in a group setting. We discussed that in depth over there. Rather, the idea over here is that you should make yourself into a rabbi and teach others over here. So, in other words, don't just learn by yourself. Make sure that you teach others also. Haselach harav means make yourself into a rabbi also. When you begin teaching others, you will remove yourself from doubts. Meaning, if you have Torah doubts, once you start teaching, you're going to get clarity by teaching. And furthermore, even just by speaking the information and just enunciating, that will already help you retain it, remember it, and get clarity on the information. Furthermore, once a person teaches others, the people that he's teaching will ask questions and sharpen the teacher's mind as well, the Rebbe's mind. The Rabbi's question over here is, why does the mission over here need to say Aselach Harav when we learned that already in the sixth mission? Exact terminology, exact same three words, Aselach Harav. Make for yourself a rabbi. So there's a few answers to this. The Tiferes Shell explains that the earlier Mishnah is teaching us that we have to strive to appoint a rabbi in the city. However, our Mishnah refers to appointing a rabbi for any doubt. Even if the rabbi isn't as great as you, appoint him if he knows certain things that you don't know. So that perhaps is a difference between the Mishnayos, aka the earlier Mishnah, is referring to appoint just a general rabbi in the community. This Mishnah is referring to more of a personal rabbi, so to say. The Alkut Yehuda explains the earlier Mishnah is referring to simple people who need to appoint a rabbi for themselves, but this Mishnah is referring to the necessity for scholars, Talmidei Chachamim, to appoint a rabbi for themselves in order that they won't make a mistake when they compare and contrast ideas. In other words, the earlier Mishnah, that's referring to the general crowds of people, the Hamon Am. This Mishnah is referring to higher caliber, the Talmidei Chachamim. They need a rabbi. Now, what does it mean in the Mishnah when it says don't estimate your Meiser? The Tiferes Shell explains that this Mishnah definitely isn't referring to actual Meiser, aka the 10% that goes to a Levi. The halacha is that you're not allowed to estimate the Meiser, it has to be the 10%. And furthermore, this Masechta, Pirkei Avos, deals with midos, characteristic traits. It doesn't deal with halacha. So that cannot be the intention of the Mishnah. Rather, the explanation of this Mishnah must be, don't be stringent because you're not sure about something. Just like we shouldn't estimate the meiser that we give, so too we have to be careful not to be stringent with the doubt that we have. And this is so important. There are countless instances where people say, I'm going to be very religious, I'm going to be very frum, and I'm not sure what the halacha is in this case. I'm not sure what to do. What's the big deal if I'm stringent? Can't really go wrong with it. I don't need to ask a rabbi. I don't need to ask someone who knows. It's a big problem because a lot of times the stringency could lead to leniencies. And this is really something that needs consideration over here, and that could really be a problem. So it's definitely something to think about, something to analyze, and a person has to be careful with that idea. Gemara says in the beginning of Beitza, the koyach dehetera adif, which means that the strength of something, making something permissible, is better. One explanation of this is anyone could just be stringent and say, I'm not going to do it because I don't know the halacha. But to come out, to learn the topic well, that's, and to see that it's really 100% permissible, that's something that is special. That's why it's better. What's the connection between the statements of this Mishnah? The Rambam explains that don't only appoint a rabbi in order that he could teach you Torah. You have to appoint a rabbi for yourself also, in order that he can make halachic rulings for you. Then you'll be able to fulfill the continuation of the Mishnah and be removed from doubt. In other words, don't just appoint a rabbi so that he could teach you, but also so that he could, if you don't know the halacha, he could tell you the halacha. And then when you know the halacha, you will be removed from doubt. And that's why you shouldn't estimate the meiser, meaning remove yourself from a doubt. Rambam says. So this is Mishnah Tezayin. Like we said, you got to take a look at Mishnah Vav for more details over there. Okay, see you in the next one.